And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the last session of qualifying. It's the 5A classification at the 2012 OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires Swimming State Championships. We get things underway with the girls' 200-yard medley relay. This is the classification that has been more one-sided and dominated than any other in the state swimming marks. Crescent Valley has won every state championship since the 5A classification was put in. They swim in this heat. In lane 1 at the top of your screen is Franklin, lane 2 Sandy, lane 3 Crescent Valley, lane 4 Marshfield, lane 5 Cleveland, lane 6 Liberty. In the first of two heats, in the 200 medley relay, first touch comes to Liberty at 29.14. Cleveland second at 30.49. Crescent Valley third, 30.86. Sandy in fourth at 32.05. Marshfield fifth, 32.72. And Franklin in sixth at 35.09. I'm Todd Pickett along with Dave Wenda, and we welcome you to the Aquatic Center at Mount Hood Community College in Gresham. This, our third session, started with a 6A this morning, the small schools in the middle, and we cap it with the 5As tonight as swimmers try to get one of the 6 spots in tomorrow's finals. Liberty with the lead midway at 102.63. Crescent Valley moves to second at 102.92. Marshfield third at 104.40. Cleveland fourth at 106.93. Sandy at 109.41. And Franklin at 109.65 midway through the medley relay. Dave, butterfly leg here, and Crescent Valley, as we said, has dominated this division. We'll see what they do to get people placed tonight.
You know, Crescent Valley in Corvallis, fantastic swimming facilities there, both at the Oregon State University and a private pool out near Corvallis High School. So you would expect both Corvallis High and Crescent Valley to be very strong in swimming. But of course, there are great swimming facilities throughout the state of Oregon. That doesn't necessarily present an inherent advantage.
Crescent Valley took the lead going into this anchor leg. The final 10 yards, and Crescent Valley will come away with a victory in this first qualifying heat at 1:57.64. A little more than a second off their best seeded time for the year. Marshfield second at 1:59.81. Liberty third at 2:02.99. Sandy fourth at 2:03.15. Franklin fifth at 2:04.89. Cleveland sixth at 2:05.65. Second heat, top of your screen, lane 1 Dallas, lane 2 Madison, lane 3 Summit, lane 4 West Albany. Hood River Valley is in 5 and Wilson is in 6. State meet record set by Crescent Valley 2 years ago, 1:48.48. The OSAA mark in 2010, Lake Ridge at 1:46.01. National best record in this is 1:40.80. Summit, the best qualifying time in the field at 1:55.05. So they have the top seed in this second heat. And it was all Corvallis in last year's meet as Crescent Valley and Corvallis went 1-2. Summit was third. Good backstroke leg for Wilson, and they take the lead after one at 26.03. Summit second at 27.97, so they'll have 2 seconds to make up. Hood River Valley third at 30.03, West Albany fourth, 31.30, Dallas fifth at 31.42, and Madison sixth at 32.37 after the backstroke leg.
Just to finish up on that Crescent Valley point, they only bring 12 swimmers to this year's meet. You know, you have some schools like Ashland that bring as many as 25, Corvallis bringing 8. So obviously there's a depth internally there where you have swimmers who are very effective and swimming and scoring in multiple events for the Raiders.
That margin, by the way, Summit just made it up. They lead the field by 5+ seconds after the breaststroke. Summit at 59.85. Madison second, 1:03.01. Dallas third. Wilson, West Albany, and Hood River Valley rounding out the 6 midway through this girls' medley relay. Butterfly leg and the touch-in at Summit at 1:27.58, and a huge lead over Hood River Valley at 1:30.69, better than 3 seconds. Madison third, 1:31.82. West Albany 1:32.82. Dallas 135.20 and Wilson at 136.93 as we come to the final leg, and it is all Summit. The backstroke might not have been so strong for them, but the other three legs definitely were, and they will come home with the victory in a time of 1:53.89. Battle for second, Hood River Valley second, 1:55.78. Madison third at 1:58.92, just ahead of West Albany at 1:59.73 for fourth. Dallas fifth at 2:03.29, and Wilson sixth at 2:04.63. And we move to the boys' 200-yard. I'll check that. We've got heat 2 for the girls. See, I knew I was going to do that eventually. No, we're through 2. That was the second heat, right all along. Good. Boys' 200-yard medley relay. Lane 1 at the top of your screen, Pendleton. Lane 2, Springfield. Lane 3, Mountain View. Lane 4, Cleveland. Lane 5, South Albany. And Lane 6, Bend. The state meet record, 2009 Summit, 138.50. OSAA record to 1998 in McMinnville at 135.43. And the national mark at 129.79. Mountain View in 3, your top seeded team in this heat. Mountain View's time better than 2 seconds ahead of anybody else in this grouping. Summit has the best qualifying time overall, and they'll be in lane 3 in the next heat. And after the first leg, it's Cleveland at 24.85, Mountain View 26.01, Pendleton 27.38, South Albany 27.59, Bend 27.88, and Springfield at 29.55 as we go to the breaststroke. Coming to the end of the breaststroke leg, and it's Mountain View first at 53.98, Cleveland second, 55.33, Pendleton up to third, 57.19, Bend fourth at 58.47, Springfield fifth, 58.74, and South Albany sixth at 58.96.
Pretty good matchup developing between Mountain View in 3 and Cleveland in 4. They've been back and forth and neck all the way.
Cleveland gets the touch at the end of the fly, 119.03 to Mountain View's 119.17. Springfield third, 122.08. Pendleton fourth, 122.72. South Albany fifth, 123.29. And Bend, 125.02. Down the final 25, and it's a strong finishing freestyle leg for Cleveland. And they will take the win at 141.96, 2 seconds below their seeded time. Mountain View second at 143.30. Pendleton third, 144.34. Springfield fourth, 145.90. South Albany fifth, 147.78. And Bend sixth at 149.75. Heat number 2. Ashland will be in lane 1. North Eugene 2. Summit with the best time in 3. Willamette 4. West Albany 5. And St. Helens in 6. Summit at 140.78. 2 outstanding performers from a year ago in Connor Brenda and Ben Griffin, as they helped Summit stake a 5th place finish in last year's meet. And ready to go now with the second heat of the boys' 200 medley relay. Off the first turn, looks like Summit has about a half body length lead. A good start for North Eugene in lane 2. Closing in lane 4 is Willamette. But at the wall, Summit will touch in 26-13, North Eugene 27-44, Willamette 28-11, St. Helens 28-71, Ashland 28-92, and West Albany 29-02. Second half of the breaststroke leg, and again, North Eugene continues to swim well in lane 2. They're moving up onto the lead, edging up on Summit, and a strong breaststroke leg. I think that's Cameron Lindsay for North Eugene, but don't hold me to it. Summit 53-94, North 54-26, Willamette 57-24, Ashland 58-09, West Albany 1 minute 1/100th, and St. Helens 1 minute 10/100ths. Very quick pace. And a good butterfly leg will be about a body length lead to Summit going to the anchor. They touch in 1:19.25. They're up nearly 2 seconds on North Eugene now at 1:21.13. Willamette just 300ths back at 1:21.16. Ashland, St. Helens, West Albany rounded out. Coming for home in the freestyle leg, and it is all Summit as they pull away over the final 25. Summit in first, but a good outing for North Eugene in lane 2. They'll qualify second. Summit in 1:42.16. North Eugene 1:44.20 as they go 3/10 under their best time. Willamette up for third at 1:45.36. West Albany fourth, 1:49.32. Ashland fifth at 1:50.17. And St. Helens 1:50.59 to round out the boys 200 medley relay. And Dave, you got the girls free.
Yeah, the first individual meet or swim of this 5A meet, a preliminary round here of the Class 5A. 2 heats in nearly every event here.
You scared me for a second. I thought you said 5-day meet instead of 5A meet, and I was really going to be worried.
Well, they pack. It could be 5 days if they spread it out, but we pack it all into 2 days,
yep.
and 2 action-packed days they are. All right, in this heat 1 in lane 1, Reed Wells, a senior from Crescent Valley. In lane 2, Brooke Walsh, a senior from Summit, will set the rest of the field as they're underway. The girls' 200-yard freestyle, heat 1 of 2. In lane 3, it's Julia Bush, a freshman from Sherwood. Mackenzie Halligan in 4. She's a freshman from Summit. Larissa Augustine is a sophomore from Springfield. And Erin Nelson, the sophomore from the Dalles Watonka, in lane 6. And through 50, it's Bush at 26.83 leading the way for Sherwood. Eight lengths of the pool here in the girls 200 freestyle. As Bush comes in with the top seed time, 1:57.07. The 5A state record, 1:52.25. And Bush will touch first after 100 yards, 56.05. Halligan is second, and Walsh is in third. Bush, the freshman, looking to go out fast and make a statement for Sherwood. But she's got all she can handle with Mackenzie Halligan in lane 4. Now Halligan will take over the top spot with 2 laps to go, 1:25.82 to 1:26.15 for Bush. Walsh continues in third.
And of course, it's the age-old dilemma. How much energy do you use to make sure you get into qualifying to get to the finals? You don't need to win this one. Save as much as you can for Saturday.
Excellent point. And now it will be a battle between Bush and Halligan. And the final 10 yards. And Halligan will touch first in 1:55.25. 1:55.78 for Julia Bush. Finishing third, coming from behind, is Lori Augustine. Walsh is fourth, Wells is fifth, and Nelson will finish sixth.
Really nice times, Dave, for both Bush and Halligan as they go a couple seconds below their seeds coming in. So that could bode well for them in the finals.
Of course, the first race for many of these swimmers, you would think the adrenaline is flowing and perhaps they can get their best performances in their first race. of the day here in the prelims. Now we're ready for heat number 2 of the girls 200 free. Set the field from the top of your screen to the bottom. In lane 1, Bridget McCarthy, the sophomore from Marshfield. In 2, Brittany Baker, the sophomore from West Albany. Christine Halverson, a sophomore from Wilsonville, swims in lane 3. In 4, it's Ida Donahue, a freshman from Cleveland. Jennifer Robeson, a freshman from Bend, is in 5. And Jenny Pinard, a freshman from Crescent Valley, in 6. All freshmen and sophomores. And as they hit the wall on the turn after 50 yards, it's Halverson in first at 26.94.
You talk about a field we could see for a while. 10 of the 12 qualifiers are either freshmen or sophomores.
And we've seen a lot of youth serves so far in the early rounds, in the 6A preliminaries, in the small school preliminaries, and now here again in the 5As. Halverson takes over the top spot, 56.12. Donahue now in second at 56.72. Baker in third, Robeson in fourth, McCarthy in fifth, Pinard is sixth. Now starting to stretch her advantage, Halverson with about a half-body lead on Donahue in 4. Now Donahue picks up a little bit after that turn. Final 2 laps of the girls' 200-yard freestyle, heat number 2. Halverson, the sophomore, Donahue, the freshman. And Halverson with a strong final 25 yards, but looks to be losing some steam. Touches at the finish first, 155.94. Donahue is second at 156.63. Robeson is third, Baker fourth, McCarthy fifth, and Pinard is sixth.
Nice time by Halverson, not her best of the year, but that time would have been enough to get her into the qualifying field for the boys event in the 200 free.
That's pretty strong,
yeah,
especially for a youngster. Coming up, the boys 200-yard freestyle, 2 heats. 6 swimmers in each. Will set the field for you after they're underway. Swimming in lane 1, Hayden Dover, the junior from North Eugene. In 2, it's Nolan Hill, the senior for Pendleton. Brandon Risley swimming in lane 3, a senior for Cleveland. Luke Lindsay, a senior for North Eugene, is in lane 4. Lane 5 sees Parker Massey, a senior for Ashland. And in 6 is Jeremy Clement, a junior for Parkrose. At the 50-yard mark, Hill, Risley, and Lindsay are 1, 2, and 3 in lanes 2, 3, and 4. Now, as compared to the last race where we had freshmen and sophomores dominated, all juniors and seniors in this heat for the boys. The 5A state mark set by Logan Story in 2007, 139.98. As Risley is in first, 51.59, followed by Hill and Lindsay. Great battle in lanes 2, 3, and 4. The OSAA all classes mark, 138.43. Swum by Brett Nagel in 2008, and the national record, 133.83. Coming up on 6 laps complete. And it's Risley in 118.95. Hill has taken over second for Pendleton, 119.35. And Lindsay has dropped to third. Final 25 yards. Risley for Cleveland trying to hold off Pendleton's Hill. And Risley will cruise to the victory in 145.85. 147.14 is the second place mark for Nolan Hill. Luke Lindsay in third at 150.07. Touching in fourth, Hayden Dover. Parker Massey is fifth, and Jeremy Clement finishes sixth.
Strong performance by Nolan Hill, better than 4 seconds under his seed time. So a good swim to likely get him into tomorrow's final.
Coming up, heat 2. The boys 200-yard free. They're in the blocks. In lane 1, Jeremy Moon from Summit, a freshman. His classmate, John Hartmeyer, is in lane 2. Alex Seaver, the junior from Marist, swims in lane 3. Jack Lloyd is in lane 4, a senior from Wilson. Lebanon's sophomore Wyatt Engler swims in lane 5, and Connor King is in lane 6, the sophomore from Crescent Valley. Tight race, and in lane 3, your leader, Alex Seaver at 24.86. Lloyd is second, and Engler is third. Lane 3 has been the fast lane in these 6-lane races. We saw that in the small school preliminaries earlier today. As they approach 100 yards, 51.60 for Seaver, followed by Hartmeyer and Lloyd. A good turn for Alex Seaver from Marist High School in Eugene, the junior, and has opened up more than a body length lead on John Hartmeyer. Hartmeyer, the Summit freshman, trying to reel in Alex Seaver, who's swimming very strongly. Final 25 yards of the boys 200 free. And Seaver slows his pace, will conserve some energy as he coasts to the win in 146.25. Hartmeyer is second at 150.91. Lloyd is third at 152.36. In fourth, it's Engler. Fifth, Moon. And sixth is Connor King.
Event number 5, the girls 200-yard medley. 5A state meet record set by Jesse James. No, not that one. Last year, 204.99. Elisa Shuknek has the OSAA mark back to 1999 of 202.60. The national record is 153.82. From top to bottom in lane 1, Kenzie Boss, freshman, West Albany. Lane 2, Michaela Shuck, senior from Madison. Lane 3, Susie Foster, senior from Summit. Lane 4, Claire Sturr, a sophomore from Franklin. Lane 5, Alyssa Walker, senior, Hood River Valley. And lane 6, Emily Shaw, freshman from Crescent Valley. Foster in 3, your top qualifier, 4 seconds ahead of anybody else in the field. And after the butterfly leg, Foster will touch in the lead at 28.12. Walker in lane 5, second at 28.56. Third, Sturr at 29.80. Fourth, Shuck at 30.15. Fifth, Shaw at 30.43. And Boss in sixth at 30.66. Good turn on the backstroke leg out in lane 6 by Shaw. She makes some ground up here. It'll still be Foster in the lead. And make it Walker in lane 5 closing as well. Foster at 101.94. Walker in lane 5 from Hood River Valley at 104.25. Sturr third at 104.50. Shuck fourth at 106.46. Boss fifth at 107.18 and Shaw at 107.76. .75 yards to go, and Susie Foster continues to power ahead of the remainder of the field. Walker in 5 trying to hold off Claire Sturr in 4 as the Franklin sophomore makes a charge. Foster touches at 140.45. Shuck in second at 143.99 in lane 2. Walker 144.12 and Sturr 144.70. Boss and Shaw round out the field, but Shuck making up ground on that breaststroke leg. She'll try to gain a little on Susie Foster here, but Foster comfortably ahead of the field as she comes to the final 10 yards and will take heat number 1. in this 200 medley. Foster in 2:12.64, half second off her season best. Shuck second at 2:14.90. Walker third at 2:15.12. Stir fourth at 2:15.54. Boss coming in fifth, and Shaw sixth at 2:25.53.
Foster with a very easy, fluid stroke, particularly in the final 25 yards of that race. She looked very comfortable.
Heat number 2 of the 200 IM. Lane 1, Elizabeth Cobb, a sophomore, Mountain View. Lane 2, Shaylin Brownell, a sophomore from Marshfield. Lane 3, Jesse James, your defending champ, will set the rest after this. James in lane 3, senior from West Albany, set the meet record a year ago. Bailey Strom, a senior from Liberty, in 4. Jerusha Dressel, a junior from Dallas, in 5. And Kylie Webb, a freshman from Hood River Valley, is in lane 6. James out well early through the fly leg. She'll touch in 29.08. Cobb second at 29.91. Strom third at 30.22. Brownell fourth, 30.68. Webb in fifth at 30.70. And Dressel in sixth at 30.79. Good turn off lane 3 for James, and drafting on her in 4 is Strom from Liberty. The two of them a couple seconds apart in their seed times, but right now they're virtually dead even, and Strom may actually pull ahead at the end of this backstroke leg. She will, and touches first at 101.31 to James 101.96. Cobb third in lane 1 at 103.15. Brownell 105.84 in lane 2. Dressel in fifth at 106.68, and Webb sixth at 107.22. Right back, however, comes Jesse James in the breaststroke leg and recaptures the lead before the end of the first 25 of that leg. A tough stroke for some to master, but James is proving quite worthy of it as she'll extend her lead at the end of the third leg at 140.54, touching in second Strom, but at 143.34, so a huge leg for Jones in the breaststroke. Cobb in lane 1, Brownell in lane 2, Webb in lane 6, and then Dressel in lane 5 as we go to the final 50. And Jesse James can kind of put this one in the bank and coast for home.
It was all that breaststroke leg. She just dominated that portion of this race.
She'll be well off of her time of a year ago, but she'll take first place in 2:11.80. About a half second off her season best. Cobb in lane 1 comes back for second with a good freestyle leg at 2:14.07. Strom in third at 2:14.49. Brownell fourth at 2:16.27. Webb fifth at 2:19.76. And Dressel sixth at 2:21.50. On to the boys 200 medley. The state meet record set last year by Brandon Deckard of Mountain View. He'll be in this heat. Deckard's time 1:54.10 a year ago. The OSAA all-class record, Ben Brink, 1999, 1:49.50. National record, 1:43.43. Lane 1 is Dalio Loesch, a junior from Summit. Lane 2, Elijah Yang, a junior from Willamette. Deckard, sophomore, Mountain View, won it as a freshman. He's in lane 3. Connor Brenda, junior from Summit, is in lane 4. Joe Ceruis, a junior from Corvallis, in 5. And Reese Pasternak, a freshman from Madison, is in 6. Deckard touches first at 26.20. Brenda second at 27.22. Ceruis third. Loesch fourth. Yang fifth, and Pasternak sixth after the first leg of the boys 200 medley. So Deckard just the second best qualifying time in the field as he's in this first heat as the number 1 qualifier. That puts him 2 overall. And at the end of the backstroke leg, he'll touch in 55.53 in a comfortable lead over Connor Brenda in 4, 58.74. Ceruis at 1 minute .62. Yang 102.32. Loesch 102.85. And Pasternak at 108.03. Good breaststroke leg for both Deckard and Brenda, but Deckard pulling well away from Brenda. to establish a really huge margin going into the freestyle leg. Tough to overhaul that much. He touches at 1:29.86 and should have better than a 5-second lead. He will. Brenda almost 6 seconds behind at 1:35.42. So again, the breaststroke, the key to success. Yang third now at 1:38.35. Saruas fourth, Loesch fifth, and Pasternak sixth.
Deckard leaving no doubt that he will be in the final. That's the key. That's the number one thing. But maybe sending a message to the folks in heat number 2.
And the defending state champion touches at 1:57.12. Still waiting for second place to arrive. That'll be Connor Brenda, 8 seconds back at 2:05.79. Yang third at 2:09.71. Saruas fourth at 2:10.16. Loesch in lane 1 will come in fifth at 2:18.72. And Pasternak, the freshman from Madison, will finish sixth with a time of 2:24.32 in the first of 2 heats. Heat number 2. And our top qualifier is in lane 3. Let's run down them, though. It's another Brenda. This one's freshman Carson for Summit in lane 1. We'll set the rest of the field after this. And in lane 1, as we said, Brenda, a freshman from Summit. Lane 2, Riley James, a freshman from Springfield. Lane 3, our top seeded time, sophomore Carlos Honeycutt of Springfield at 1:55.31. Lane 4, Connor Webb, junior from Hood River Valley. Lane 5, Gabe DeSimone, freshman from West Albany. And lane 6, Stephen Dowdle, a junior from Sherwood.
Honeycutt is having a tremendous season for the Millers. Really dominated the district meet for Springfield. Was an individual champion here a year ago and wants to try to make a splash in more than just one event this year.
Had about a 1.5-second lead after the first 50. And he's swimming a very strong backstroke leg to kind of pull competitors out of sight. Although Webb's starting to close on him a little bit as Honeycutt coasts in at 53.58. It's still a big margin over Webb, who touches second 4 seconds back at 57.78. DeSimone third, 101.01. Brenda Carson up at the top, fourth at 101.48. Jones fifth at 103.24, and Dowdle sixth at 105.41 midway through the boys' 200 medley. Good breaststroke leg here, the key, Carlos Honeycutt. But Connor Webb staying pretty close to him. Honeycutt touching at 127.03 as he goes to the final leg. Webb at 131.76 is second, and the two of them well ahead of the remainder of the field. Honeycutt turns at the far end and will head for home with a comfortable lead. He can just put it in neutral and coast from here. And Honeycutt, the top seeded time coming into the event, and he may get under that. He will do that. He touches in 1:53.90, a great time in qualifying. He gets a meet record, beating Deckard's record by 0.2 of a second. Connor Webb is second in 2 minutes, 42 of a second. Freshman Carson Brenda third at 2:08.82, swimming under his season best. Gabe DeSimone fourth at 2:10.80. Riley Jones fifth at 2:12 even, and Stephen Dowdle sixth at 2:20.69, and a meet record in qualifying in the victory for Carlos Honeycutt.
Well,
Dave?
If there's such a thing as sending a message, I think Carlos Honeycutt did it to his fellow sophomore Brandon Deckard, who won heat number 1. Honeycutt goes out and reclaims or claims the 5A state meet record. Girls 50 freestyle, quickly setting the field. Sherilyn Shumway is in 1. Sam Olazewski is in 2. Erica Twenge is in 3. Jennifer Tournay is in 4. Taylor Tanisma is in 5. And Elise Trendell is in 6.
And if you told everybody where they were from, you wouldn't finish in time.
It's a very quick race. It's the sprints. And it will be Twenge from Crescent Valley in 24.76 winning. And in lane 5, Tanisma is second for Hood River Valley. So the senior from Crescent Valley, Erica Twenge, takes heat number 1 in the girls 50, and we're set for heat number 2. From the top of your screen on down, in lane 1, Maddie Kelly. In lane 2, Hannah Gupton. Lane 3, Grace Carlson. Lane 4, Bella Wiener. Lane 5, Erica Weiler. And in lane 6, Anna West. As they make the turn and head for home, final 25 yards. It is Carlson, Grace Carlson from Wilson, the junior, with a sizable advantage in such a short race, and wins it comfortably in 24-17. Second was Wiener, and in third place, Hannah Gupton from Sandy. So up next, the boys' 50-yard freestyle. The meet record set here a year ago, Logan Parker, 21:43. As they'll step down and give us a chance to introduce them. In lane 1, Jacob Rickman, the junior from Pendleton, is in lane 1. Joseph Murphy, a freshman from Mountain View, is in lane 2. In lane 3, Tommy Brewer, a freshman from Summit. Lane 4, Jacob DeLoe, a senior from West Albany. In lane 5, Joey Orton, a sophomore from Dallas. And in lane 6, Ryan Axe, a sophomore from Sherwood. Fastest 30 seconds on water, or more like 20-plus seconds. And out to a furious pace. They'll make the turn and head back. And in lane 3, Tommy Brewer, the freshman from Summit, trying to hold off a charge from lane 1 and Jacob Rickman. And it is Brewer in 21:41. In second place, Jacob DeLoe with a late charge in 22:35.
Brewer sets a state meet record by 2/100ths of a second, but don't be surprised if it disappears quickly. 3 competitors, 3 qualifiers in this race, all under the state meet record of a year ago.
Well, perhaps we have a fast pool here, Todd. We know in 99 a lot of records were set, and so far we've seen a few records go down. Heat 2 of the boys' 50-yard free, William O'Connell in lane 1, Kyle Freeman in 2, Doug Steinhoff in 3, Kai Stahl in 4, Stephen Evans in 5, and Kevin Kwan in lane 6. In 3, Doug Steinhoff, the senior from Bend. And holds off Stahl with a great touch, 21:35. Is the mark, and yet another record.
Yeah, remember that meet record? It lasted 1 minute.
Or about 24 seconds, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy Brewer, you're the state meet record. Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind. Tell him not to put the plaque up.
Lots of swimmers can feel very confident about their performances here in the boys' 50-yard freestyle, as in 21:41, or 21:35 now. 21:41 was the record that did last about 30 seconds. Now it is Doug Steinhoff of Bend in 21:35.
And we get to kind of cool off for a second after that. 2 state meet records back to back. And before we take our break here between events, let's get you caught up on the results we have so far.
We have a lot of finals set for tomorrow in the girls' 200-yard medley relay. These 6 finalists are Summit, Hood River Valley, Crescent Valley, Madison, West Albany, and Marshfield. In the boys' 200-yard medley, it is Cleveland with the top preliminary time, 1:41.96. Summit, Mountain View, North Eugene, Pendleton, and Willamette. The girls' 200-yard freestyle is set. Mackenzie Halligan, the freshman with the best preliminary time, 1:55.25. Also in the field, Julia Bush, Christy Halverson, Ida Donahue, Jennifer Robeson, and Brittany Baker. In the boys 200-yard free, Brandon Risley had the top qualifying time, the senior from Cleveland, 1:45.85. He'll be joined in the final by Alex Seaver, Nolan Hill, Luke Lindsay, John Hartmeyer, and Jack Lloyd. The girls' 200-yard individual medley, Jesse James had the top preliminary time, 2:11.8. Also in the final, Susie Foster of Summit, Elizabeth Cobb of Mountain View, Bailey Strom from Liberty, Malika Shuck of Madison, and Alyssa Walker of Hood River Valley. In the boys 200-yard IM, Carlos Honeycutt was very impressive, the sophomore from Springfield, with a 1:53.90 time, and that is a state meet record for Carlos, eclipsing last year's meet record by Brandon Deckard, who had the second best preliminary time at 1:57.12.
But better than 3 seconds back, so that's going to be interesting to see what Deckard does tomorrow.
And also in the field, Connor Webb, Connor Brendan, Brenda, Carson Brenda, and Elijah Yang. And finally in the girls 50 free, it is Grace Carlson, Erica Twenge, Bella Wiener, Taylor Tenisma, Jennifer Tournay, and Sam Olazuski.
And back-to-back meet records in the boys 50. We'll get you the qualifiers for that. But right now we're going to step aside. We'll have a short break. Our next race scheduled in about 12 minutes from now. And that'll be the girls' 100-yard butterfly. We'll have that for you when we return to the Mount Hood Community College Aquatic Center. You're watching the 2012 OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A Swimming State Championships. And we'll return after this timeout on OSAA.tv.
If you've stopped saving, let us help you start. Savings today and rewards tomorrow from US Bank. Save a little every week with every purchase, every paycheck. Watch your savings grow. When you reach $1,000, you'll earn a $50 rewards Visa card. Earn another $50 when you keep it for a year. Save for a wedding day, a family, or your house. Just start. All of us serving you. US Bank.
My family and I were enjoying a big vacation in Tahoe. After a great day on the mountain, our car wouldn't start. I got a jump, but it kept dying. Everyone in town said, "Go to Les Schwab." When I pulled up, George delivered. He quickly tested the battery and confirmed it was a goner. While he installed a new one, I finally got my first relaxation of the vacation. It's nice to be treated like a neighbor so far from home. I'm Clay Gilman, and that's my Les Schwab store.
Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
We welcome you back to the OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 2012 5A Swimming State Championships. Next event, the girls 100-yard butterfly. This, the first of two heats. In lane 1 at the top of your screen is Amanda Kitchen, a junior from West Albany. Her teammate, also a junior, Charity Hankey, is in lane 2. Hannah Gupton, freshman from Sandy, in lane 3, top time in the field. Susie Foster back again, the senior from Summit, close behind. She's in lane 4. Alyssa Walker, senior, Hood River Valley, in lane 5. And Kirby Neal, senior from Marshfield, rounding out this field of 6 in heat 1 of 2. The state meet record set 2 years ago by Haley Barkdahl, 58:29. The OSAA all-class record, 2008, Kaylin Bing with the outstanding 54:52, and the national time, 52:41. Gupton touches first in 27:47, Foster at 28:16, then Walker, Hankey, Kitchen, and Neal at the end of the first 50. And they head for home in the 100 fly. Qualifying heat number 1, and Hannah Gupton, the freshman from Sandy, trying to hold off Susie Foster. Gupton will touch first in 58:97, 7/10 off the meet record. Foster second at 59:46. Walker third at 1 minute 90. Hankey fourth at 102.95. Kitchen fifth at 105.51. And Neal sixth at 109.71. Heat number 2, in lane 1, Phoebe Weedman, sophomore, Mountain View. Lane 2, Brooke Miller, junior from Bend. Lane 3, Erica Twangy, senior, Crescent Valley, top qualifier at 59:51. Lane 4, Emily Stevens, junior from Sherwood, will set the rest after this. In lane 5, Ida Donahue, a freshman from Cleveland. And in lane 6, Sydney Goodman, a freshman from Summit. Heat number 2. And we have 4 qualifiers in this, coming in with seeded times 0.4 of a second apart. So it could be a great field for the final as well. Let's see what happens in this good opening leg for Twangy in lane 3. Also strong, Brooke Miller in 2 for Bend. Stevens off the pace just a little bit. It's Twangy 27:59, Miller 28:22, Stevens 28:45, Donahue 28:86, Weedman 29:03, and Goodman 29:62 in lane 6. 25 yards to go and a good third leg there for Twangy in 3. And she'll move into the lead. Twangy from Crescent Valley ahead of Miller from Bend in 3 and 2. Stevens well off the pace. The Sherwood swimmer in lane 4 starting to fade a little bit. And Erica Twangy will come home in 59:18. Her best time of the year. Miller second at 59:90. Stevens third at 1 minute 75. Donahue fourth at 1 minute 97. Weedman fifth at 102.83, and Goodman sixth at 103.36. That takes us to the boys' 100-yard butterfly. The state meet record, Mason Allen in 2009, 51:15. Neil O'Halloran has the OSAA mark of 48:72. O'Halloran set that in last year's 6A. This is heat 1 of the boys' 100. Lane 1, Joseph Murphy, freshman, Mountain View. Lane 2, Marshall Allen, junior, Summit. Lane 3, Gus Sims, junior from Ashland. Lane 4, Sam Donahue, senior from Cleveland. Lane 5, John Murphy, junior, Mountain View. And lane 6, Perry Jennings, senior from Pendleton. Halfway through, and it's Sims touching first in 25:31. Donahue second at 25:51. Jennings third, 25:68. Allen fourth at 26:30. Murphy fifth at 27:37. And John Murphy in 5. We have 2 Murphys, brothers from Mountain View. Younger leagues older. He's at 28:96.
A couple of great turns for Donahue, though, has sprung him into the lead.
Donahue battling with Gus Sims. And Donahue will touch in 53:42. Sims second at 53:80. Third is Perry Jennings at 54:90. Fourth, Marshall Allen, 55:75. And the Murphy brothers bring up the field. Joseph at 57:45 and John at 101.99. Heat number 2, lane 1 at the top. Chris Sagers, a junior from Summit. Lane 2, John Beamer, a senior from South Albany. Lane 3, Carlos Honeycutt back again, the sophomore from Springfield. Lane 4, Brandon Risley, a senior from Cleveland, and a good one. Lane 5, Stephen Evans, senior, Lebanon. Lane 6, Nick Cheney, sophomore, Sandy. Honeycutt, second and a half better than the rest of the field on seed times. Risley solid as well, though, in lane 4. Up they come from the turn, and a good opening 25 for John Beamer of South Albany. But now coming back is Honeycutt in 3, Risley in 4. And Honeycutt touches first, 24-23 to Risley's 24-74. Beamer third at 25-72. Sagers 26-60. Evans 26-99, and Cheney in 6th. 25 yards to go, and who's going to pop off the wall? Sims seemed to have a pretty good turn in 3, and he will come up with a full body length lead now on Brandon Risley. Sims pulling away over the final 50, and he'll have a comfortable win at the touch at 51-56, 4/10 off the meet record. Risley second at 53-16. Or make it Honeycutt, sorry. I was looking at first heat again. My apologies. It is Carlos Honeycutt at 51-56. Risley second. Third is John Beamer at 55-28. Fourth, Stephen Evans, 57-14. Fifth, Cheney at 57-30. And sixth, Sagers at 57-50 in the boys' 100-yard butterfly.
On to the girls' 100-yard freestyle. First of 2 heats. We'll set them once they're underway. In lane 1 at the top of your screen, Erica Weiler, the senior from Corvallis. In lane 2, Taylor Tanisma, the senior from Hood River Valley. In lane 3, Maddie Brewer, a junior from Summit. Brittany Baker is in 4, a sophomore from West Albany. Bella Wiener is a freshman from Bend. And in lane 6, Sadie Weens, a freshman from Franklin. Tight race as we approach 50 yards. And it's Brewer just a hair ahead of Bella Wiener in lane 5. Brewer's split time 26-24. Now Brewer with a strong turn in lane 3, and picking up some ground in lane 4 is Brittany Baker. Wiener still in the hunt, but it's going to be Maddie Brewer touching in first, 54-19. Wiener held on for second, 55-16. Tanisma was third and 55-59. Baker was fourth, Weiler was fifth, and Weens rounds out the field. Heat 2 coming up in the girls 100 free, as they'll step to the blocks. From the top of your screen in lane 1, Sam Olaszewski, the senior for Sherwood. In 2, Brooke Walsh, a senior from Summit. In lane 3, Allison Wells, the freshman from Crescent Valley. Another freshman in 4, Julia Bush of Sherwood. Jerusha Dressel is the junior from Dallas in 5, and Bridget McCarthy, a sophomore from Marshfield, is in lane 6. At 50 yards, 25-85 for Bush in first, just ahead of Allison Wells of Crescent Valley in 3. And in third, Brooke Walsh in lane 2. Important turn at the far end. And now leading comfortably in lane 4 is Julia Bush. Opening up more than a half body lead, now a full body lead. She'll win it in 53-24. Allison Wells is second, 54-81. Brooke Walsh finishes third, 55-72. Olaszewski is fourth, Dressel fifth, and McCarthy is sixth.
Bush 1.2 seconds under her seed time, so a good qualifying leg.
Moving right along, the boys' 100-yard freestyle is next. Logan Story holds the 5A state record, set it in 07, 46-47. Let's set the field in lane 1. Andrew Carlson, the sophomore from St. Helens. Lane 2, Jacob DeLoe, a senior from West Albany. Lane 3, Doug Steinhoff, a senior from Bend. Cameron Lindsay, swimming in lane 4, a senior from North Eugene. Nolan Hill, the senior from Pendleton, is in 5, and Dorian Tooker, a senior from Lebanon, is in 6. Steinhoff hits the wall first, 23:15 as he makes the turn, halfway home. Second is Nolan Hill out in lane 5, and third is Jacob DeLoe in lane 2. Final turn, final 25 yards. Steinhoff looking strong. Jacob DeLoe making a move in lane 2. And in lane 4, Cameron Lindsay coming up, but not enough to hold or catch Doug Steinhoff of Bend, who wins in 48-17. Nolan Hill was second in lane 5. DeLoe was third. Fourth was Lindsay, fifth was Colson, and sixth was Tooker.
You get the feeling that Steinhoff took the foot off the gas a little bit on that one after already setting one state meet record. He was about 1.7 seconds off the meet record in this one, but he still looked comfortable that last 10.
Took him a while to get into the lead there, but once he did, he did feel comfortable, and I think he knew the margin he had between first and second. And here's Heat 2 of the boys 100-yard free. In lane 1, Ben Griffin, senior from Summit. In lane 2, Kyle Freeman, the senior from Willamette. Lane 3, Tommy Brewer, a freshman of Summit. And as they come to the halfway mark, it is Brewer leading in 22:92. Also in the race, in lane 4, Jack Lloyd, the senior from Wilson. William O'Connell, a senior from Bend, in 5. And in 6 is Joey Orton, the sophomore from Dallas. Final turn as they make their way home. And in lane 3, Tommy Brewer, the freshman, owning this race, opening up a comfortable advantage. He'll coast into the win at 48:05. Second is Lloyd at 49:39. Third is Kyle Freeman at 50:30. Griffin was fourth. Orton was fifth. And O'Connell rounds out the field in sixth place.
So Brewer, who had a state meet record for about 1 minute before Steinhoff eclipsed it, will be the top qualifier here in the 100 free, and it could be a great battle with Steinhoff tomorrow night as Brewer is about 0.2 of a second ahead of him. And we move now to the girls' 500-yard freestyle. And our defending state champion in the field, she'll be in the next heat. This is heat 1 of 2 in the girls' 500-yard freestyle, up and back 10 times. In lane number 1 is Claire Sturr, a sophomore from Franklin. Lane 2, Jennifer Robeson, freshman from Bend. Lane 3, Mackenzie Halligan, second best seed time, a freshman from Summit at 5:09.92, 10 seconds ahead of anyone else in this group. Lane 4 is Phoebe Weedman, sophomore from Mountain View at 5:19.68. Lane 5 is Reed Wells, a senior from Crescent Valley. And in lane 6 is Danielle Miller, a sophomore from Hood River Valley, 10 times up and back in the ladies 500-yard freestyle, which of course gives us a chance to get you caught up on a few results.
And we do have some finals set for you. Tomorrow's 5A final and the boys 50-yard freestyle. You just mentioned it, Doug Steinhoff and Tommy Brewer each set state meet records within about 30 seconds of each other in a couple of consecutive heats. Steinhoff with the better time and now is the state record holder at 21.35. Brewer's time 21:41. Also in the field for the boys 50 free, Kai Stahl, Jacob DeLoe, Jacob Rickman, and Kyle Freeman. So it should be a great battle there. Bend versus Summit, Steinhoff versus Brewer in the boys 50-yard freestyle.
And that one could be a real key towards some possible points. Those two teams were just 2 points away from one another last year. Bend finishing 4th with 31, Summit finishing 5th with 29. And of course, Brewer just a freshman, so he's a guy we may see around for a little while. We'll get that matchup between Brewer and Steinhoff, youth versus experience, as it were, at a high school level. And they'll go head-to-head in the 50 and the 100 in the freestyle races tomorrow.
And you got to figure both swimming in the same town, they're probably familiar with one another. In the girls' 100-yard butterfly, Hannah Gupton, the freshman, had the top preliminary time, 58.97. over Erica Twenge, the senior from Crescent Valley. We've called her name a lot already in the preliminary meet. She finished in 59.18. Susie Foster, Brooke Miller, Emily Stevens, and Alyssa Walker round out the field for the girls' 100-yard butterfly.
And we'll hang on to a couple more results and share those with you during the boys section, or heat 2 of the girls here. We've got 4 races of 5 minutes plus each. This is the marathon event, and we're at the halfway point right now in this first heat, and it's Mackenzie Halligan, the freshman from Summit, as expected, out in the lead at 2:30.52. Phoebe Weedman second at 2:34.70, so a 4-second plus difference between first and second. Jennifer Robeson, freshman from Bend, is currently third. Claire Sturr, sophomore from Franklin, up to fourth. Reed Wells, the senior from Crescent Valley, is fifth. And Danielle Miller from Hood River Valley is in sixth place currently.
Interesting, the classes again of the participants in this heat. 2 freshmen, 3 sophomores, and 1 senior. And you postulated, perhaps somewhat tongue-in-cheek, in the small school races that maybe they make the youngsters swim the 500-yard races to either as a rite of passage or because
you get a spot on the team if you do it.
Yeah, that's a
Your
good point.
upperclassmen may want to swim the 50s and 100s and so on. So if you want to swim in a meet for us, kid, here's a chance.
There are certainly specialists who are distance racers, just as in track, but we have seen a lot of youngsters in these 500-yard heats thus far in this preliminary day.
3 more times up and back here in heat number 1 of the girls 500 freestyle. Halligan continues to lead by 6 seconds over Weedman, and Robeson is third. At Summit, Mountain View, Bend, just to put that in perspective for you. Again, they probably are all pretty familiar with one another. Halligan coming down for the touch. She'll have 2 more trips up and back after this one at 4:03.97. Weedman second, now 7 seconds back, roughly, at 4:10.26, and Robeson third at 4:13.63. Rest of the field way back as we still wait for a 4th place person to touch. And Halligan with a chance here to lap 2 or 3 of her competitors here in the close. Bell lap for Mackenzie Halligan, and she'll touch at 4:35.31. As we mentioned coming into this one, the defending state champion and meet record holder comes up in the next heat, although with a bit of a surprising time. We'll explain that coming up momentarily, but right now it's Mackenzie Halligan of Summit, a freshman, coming in to touch, and she will finish at 5:06.18. Second, Phoebe Weedman of Mountain View at 5:12.57. Third, Jennifer Robeson of Bend at 5:17.50. And it's going to be Reed Wells of Crescent Valley in fourth, Claire Sturr of Franklin fifth, and Danielle Miller of Hood River Valley in sixth as those swimmers come for home in heat number 1 of the girls 500-yard freestyle. So Jessie James, the fastest qualifier, will be in lane 3, but her time, her seed time, is 14 seconds off of her meet record of a year ago. The meet record 4:54.82, the OSAA record 4:47.34, the national record 4:34.78, and James' seed time 5:08.70. Best in the field still, but not by much. In lane 1, Emily Shaw, a freshman from Crescent Valley. Lane 2, Larissa Augustine, a sophomore from Springfield. Lane 3, James, senior, West Albany. Her seed time a little over a second better than the time of Mackenzie Halligan, who won heat number 1. Christy Halverson, a sophomore from Wilsonville, is in lane 4. Meredith Wells, senior from Crescent Valley, in lane 5. And Kayla Ashland, freshman from Corvallis, is in lane 6. One of the keys here, Dave, of course, for Crescent Valley with 3 swimmers is just to try to get numbers into the finals and accumulate points.
Get as many as you can into the finals. And, of course, at the 5A level, we will have 2 heats of 6 swimmers in each heat. And the scoring, though, for the 5A meet, it only scores through the first 6 places, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll just have the championship races for the 5A, yeah. They just score the 6 points. Halverson touching first at 58.40. James second at 58.64. So a bit of a surprise there. The two about 3 seconds apart in qualifying time. So we'll see what James does and watch her second half of this performance as well. Still plenty of distance to go for these two swimmers.
James has entered in a lot of races, and then you throw in this 500-yarder. She has to swim it back-to-back days in addition to all the other events. And you wonder if that may be a factor in her having a slower seating time this year. Perhaps she's carrying more of a workload for West Albany.
And the key, as we said right now, is just to get to tomorrow with as little energy expended as possible. Still in the opening half of this girls' 500-yard race. The boys' 500 will come up next. And the other thing James is doing right here, Dave, is she's kind of, over to the lane line and trying to drag off of Halverson a little bit, let Halverson do the work and ride in her wake a little bit, just try to relax there in second. She's got her within sight. She's a second back right now.
A veteran type of move for the senior, Jessie James.
When they come down to touch this time, they'll be halfway through. This is the second heat of the girls' 500-yard freestyle. And after all those years of swimming lap after lap after lap, you feel your own pace, your own metronome, and try to get used to times and try to figure out where you are. Halverson 2:32.19. James a little further back, 2:33.41. 1.2 seconds down now. Wells is third, 2:37.52. Augustine fourth at 2:38 even. Shaw fifth at 2:45.75. And Ashland at 2:45.84 to round out our field here in heat number 2. Well, one of the lane people almost made a boo-boo. They, if you're not familiar with the distance swims, at the far end of the pool, a person is assigned to each lane, and they stick a numeric board down into the water so that you see it when you touch to know which lap you're on. It goes up. They're on lap 13 of 20 right now, and one of them almost flipped to 15. Imagine what that would have done to a swimmer not knowing whether it was right or not. And they kind of bob it in the water. You can probably see as our camera goes up to that end, just to let the swimmers know where they are. They probably are keeping count of that pretty well in their heads.
They probably do at this point in the season.
Yeah.
And they also get the bell lap for a little bit of extra information, if you will, or to solidify that number in their head. But how easy is it to hear the bell when you're in the midst of a 500-yard race? You probably
It's pretty
do.
loud when you get down there. They ring it a long time. James coming back a little bit on Halverson at that last touch, down by just a second now after being down 1.2 earlier. But again, comfortable right now, and that's the key for her, just to get into the finals and then turn it loose there. She is closing a little bit more this time as they'll go up and back 2 more times, and it's 6/10 now at Halverson 4:06.63. and James at 4:07.24. Good race for third. Meredith Wells at 4:16.19 and Lori Augustine at 4:16.47. And Shaw and Ashland rounding out the field of 6 here in heat number 2.
See if the competitive fire in James takes over here in the final 2 laps, the final up and back, and she decides she just wants to win a race to win a race.
She does appear to be picking it up a little bit as they go into the final 50, and we'll see how much they want to sprint this one. Both of them increasing the stroke rate just a little bit. "25 yards to go, a solid turn off the wall for each, but a little bit better turn for James, and she pulls ahead of Halverson. James with a good final 50. And turning it over a little bit quicker, she will touch first at 5:08.11, a little better than her previous best. Halverson drops 3 seconds to 5:08.45 and finishes second. A good outing for her to qualify. Augustine third at 5:20.20. Wells fourth at 5:20.87. Emily Shaw of Crescent Valley will finish in the 5th spot. And coming in 6th will be Kayla Ashland of Corvallis, as those 2 freshmen finish their competition in the girls' 500-yard freestyle. So it could be quite a battle tomorrow to keep an eye on in the long-distance race. We move on to the boys' 500-yard freestyle, the state meet record set by Logan Story in 2007, 4:27.41. The OSAA record, and Dave and I think this is the oldest on the books. Alex Stiles to 1984 at 4:27.33. It's a story close, but couldn't get it back then.
And again, it's Mr. Stiles tuning in.
This is heat number 1 of 2 in the boys 500-yard freestyle. On lane 1 is Andrew Neerman, a senior from West Albany. Lane 2, Aiden Souls, a junior from Summit. Lane 3, Alex Seaver, a junior from Marist. Lane 4, Anton Loncar, a sophomore from Liberty. Lane 5, Connor King, sophomore from Crescent Valley. And lane 6 is Alex McFadden, a senior from Wilson. Seaver in lane 3, the number 2 seed time overall, and 11 seconds ahead of anyone else in this group, so we'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, we update some more results and qualifiers with Dave Wenda.
Thank you, Todd. Boys 100-yard butterfly final. Carlos Honeycutt of Springfield, the sophomore, has had a tremendous season so far and a great start here in the 5A preliminary meet. He had the best preliminary time in the 100 fly, 51.56, ahead of Brandon Risley of Cleveland, a senior. Fellow senior from Cleveland, Sam Donahue, had the 3rd best time. Gus Sims, Perry Jennings, and John Beamer of Ashland, Pendleton, and South Albany, respectively, had the next 3 best times and will round out the final in the boys 100-yard butterfly. In the girls 100-yard freestyle, Julia Bush, the freshman from Sherwood, with the best time in the prelims, 53.24, ahead of Maddie Brewer of Summit, 54.19 for Brewer. Allison Wells of Crescent Valley, Bella Wiener of Bend, Taylor Tanisma of Hood River Valley, and Brittany Baker of West Albany are the other finalists. And should we maybe conserve a couple here, and we'll get them to you in the second heat of the boys 500-yard freestyle. I want to get back to this.
That's a way to hook him. Good job.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
You're watching OSAA.tv. Alex Stiles has the record dating back to 84.
You were really obsessed with Alex Stiles, aren't you?
I'm impressed by it.
I think you should go do a search for him. Bring us information tomorrow in the finals.
Well, you have the fancy computer.
But time and effort to do the research.
You're right.
All right.
Alex Stiles, 84. You know, his time, though, is only 0.08 of a second better than the 5A state record held by Logan Story in 2007. So 5 years ago, that record was close to falling. It was a close call there.
And remember, in 84, it was a single state meet then, too. There were no classifications at all. So we'd have to check. We don't have a school listing for Stiles on this one. We get it later on in some of the other printouts. When we get the results, it shows it on there. So we can double check and see where he was then. Meanwhile, let's get you here into the second half, just underway with the second half of the boys 500 free heat 1. And as expected, Alex Seaver, the junior from Marist, is in the lead at 2:47.18, 6 seconds ahead of Anton Loncar, sophomore from Liberty. Aiden Souls of Summit is in 3rd currently. And 4th place, Andrew Neerman in lane 1 from West Albany. 5th is Connor King of Crescent Valley, and Alex McFadden of Wilson in lane 6 is in 6th place. So there you go. I mean, you're going to have time on your hands.
You're right. I am curious what happened to Alex Stiles. Did he go on to a college?
You should throw that to Steve Walker.
Steve Walker's the kind of guy who may just have it off the top of his head.
I don't know if he's got that Alex Stiles bio information.
You
know, once he went beyond the high school level, that's no longer Steve's responsibility. So we'll just do that, you know, like they do, used to do in the find a former college football player every week on the online column. So
where are they
Alex
now?
Stiles, right into OSAA.org. There's got to be somewhere on the website a place where you can send an email. Either that or they just look you up, and you must have your own Twitter followers and everything else.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They could just get to you there, right?
I'm all about the technology.
You're all about the tweeting.
Yes.
Yeah. Bell lap coming up here, as Alex Seaver will lead the qualifiers down to the wall. He's already lapped one competitor and coming in on a couple others. Bell lap for Seaver at 4:13.69. And still waiting for a second placer to touch the wall. That will be Anton Loncar, 11 seconds back roughly at 4:24 flat. Aiden Souls at 4:29.01 is currently in 3rd, but this one is all Alex Seaver, the junior from Marist, will come home to touch first now. at 4:42.52. 5 seconds below his seed time, so a very good outing here at the Mount Hood Aquatic Center. Anton Lonkar second at 4:52.39. He's 6 seconds under his seed time. Aiden Souls from Summit in third at 4:59.76. He's 6 seconds under his previous seed time. So 3 pretty strong performances here in Heat 1 in getting some at least season records, if not PRs, for those swimmers. Connor King comes in fourth for Crescent Valley at 4:52.39. Andrew Neerman of West Albany is fifth at 5:17.38. And it'll be Alex McFadden, the senior from Wilson, finishing sixth as he still has another lap to go. While he comes in, we'll set the field for you in heat number 2 of the boys 500. Lane 1 is going to be Hayden Dover, the junior from North Eugene. Lane 2, Gus Sims, junior from Ashland. Lane 3, Brandon Deckard, sophomore, Mountain View. Lane 4, Luke Lindsay, senior, North Eugene. Lane 5, Wyatt Engler, sophomore, Lebanon. And lane 6, Evan O'Grady, a sophomore from Pendleton. Deckard, the top seed time, 3 seconds ahead of Seaver, who we just saw lower his time by 5 some seconds. So some big names in this one that we've already called as they get set for heat 2. Again, top to bottom, Dover, North Eugene, Sims, Ashland, Deckard, Mountain View, Lindsay, North Eugene, Engler, Lebanon, and O'Grady of Pendleton.
Deckard is having a busy meet.
Yep, not usually you think of him more at the shorter distances sometimes, but here he is again with a pretty strong performance in this 500 also. Got a couple more results for us there?
We do. Let's check in the boys' 100-yard freestyle final for tomorrow. We'll feature Tommy Brewer at the top, the freshman from Summit with a preliminary time of 48:05, and Doug Steinhoff from the Bend, Bend High School. So 2 guys from the Bend area with the top 2 times in the prelims of the boys 100 free, 48:17 for Steinhoff. Also in the final, Nolan Hill of Pendleton, a senior. Jacob DeLoe, the senior for West Albany. Jack Lloyd, a senior for Wilson. And Cameron Lindsay, the senior for North Eugene. So 5 seniors and a freshman, but the freshman has the best time coming in. That's Tommy Brewer of Summit. That'll be a fun race to watch tomorrow.
That 50 and that 100 are both going to be great.
Yeah. And then the girls' 500-yard freestyle, with results already in. Mackenzie Halligan, another freshman from Summit with the best time. 5:06.18 was her preliminary time. 3 seconds, better than 3 seconds faster than her seed time. Jesse James of West Albany, the senior, is the second seed in the finals. 5:08.11 was her preliminary time. Christy Halverson of Wilsonville, the sophomore, is third. Also in the final, Phoebe Weedman, sophomore from Mountain View. Jennifer Robeson, the freshman from Bend, and Larissa Augustine, the sophomore from Springfield. So 3 Bend area swimmers again in the girls' 500-yard freestyle final tomorrow.
And we've just hit the halfway point in this second heat of the boys' 500-yard freestyle. And a little bit of a surprise, it's Luke Lindsay of North Eugene in the lead at 2:22.70. Deckard, whose qualifying time bested the rest of the field by 7 seconds, is currently in second place. Sims third, Engler fourth, Dover fifth, and O'Grady sixth. Girls 200-yard freestyle relay will be coming your way next. And then the boys, as we wind down here on qualifying night at the Mount Hood Aquatic Center. Deckard now in first. All of a sudden just powered it up, went right by Lindsay at 2:51.93 to 2:52.37. So maybe Lindsay went out a little bit strong. We'll see what happens to him here over the final 4 laps up and back. 8 lengths of the pool to go as Deckard starts to power away. Deckard extends the lead to 2+ seconds on that leg. over Lindsay, who's in second. Gus Sims is third, another 4 seconds back. Coming in fourth will be Wyatt Engler from Lebanon. Fifth is Hayden Dover of North Eugene, and Evan O'Grady of Pendleton is sixth. 2 more laps to go for Brandon Deckard, who is now extended to a very comfortable margin of better than 4 seconds over Luke Lindsay. So Lindsay might have gone out a little strong on pace there at the start.
You can see a senior in his final state meet perhaps wanting to win a heat in the state championships, if not actually win the final.
Bell lap coming now for Brandon Deckard, sophomore from Mountain View. And he'll have a huge margin over Luke Lindsay, who touches. Lindsay 7+ seconds back. Gus Sims is third, another 6 seconds behind Lindsay. Coming in and powering this one home is Brandon Deckard of Mountain View. And he may get under his seed time. He will by a little over a second at 4:43.03 for Deckard, about 6 seconds off the meet record. Luke Lindsay will finish second. The North Eugene senior at 4:52.20, 9 seconds behind. Gus Sims of Ashland is third, 4:57.52. Wyatt Engler of Lebanon fourth at 5:07.37. Hayden Dover of North Eugene will be fifth, and Evan O'Grady of Pendleton will finish sixth in this second heat of the boys 500-yard freestyle. And Dave, it's relay time.
Thank you very much, Todd. First up, the girls' 200-yard freestyle relay. And our prelims, and we will know who's in each leg of the relay. First, let's start with the teams for you. In lane 1, it's Hood River Valley. Lane 2 is Ashland. Lane 3, Summit. Lane 4, West Albany. Lane 5 is Marshfield, and lane 6 is Corvallis. Top seed time coming in belongs to Summit, 1:42.68. The opening leg swum for Hood River Valley by Kayla Schilling. For Ashland, it's Ada Lawson. Brooke Walsh in the pool for Summit. Lexi Hirely for West Albany. Elise Trendell for Marshfield. And for Corvallis, it's Erica Weiler. Good race through 50 yards. And Summit with an edge over Ashland. West Albany is third. Corvallis is fourth, way out in lane 6 at the bottom of your screen. And now it's Caitlin Fick, Cassie Hall, Abby Sorley, Jocelyn Harding, Logan Chard, and Aurora Brown Sanders in the pool. Picking up a little bit of an edge in lane 3 is Summit and Sorley. She'll pass off to Mackenzie Halligan. Rebecca Galvez in lane 1, Maddie Longshore in 2. In 4, it's Brittany Baker, 5, Hannah Olson. And in lane 6 for Corvallis, Maya Patton, the senior. The race belongs to Summit. Mackenzie Halligan trying to hold on to the lead by Summit. But here comes Brittany Baker, the sophomore, and she'll take the lead for West Albany in lane 4. Now the anchor leg into the pool for West Albany, Jesse James, who just swam that 500, and Susie Foster for Summit. We'll see how much James has left here. Final 15 yards. James, Foster, and it's James for West Albany, 1:43.08 for the Bulldogs. Summit is second in 1:43.75. In third, it's Ashland at 1:44.26. Fourth went to Marshfield, fifth Corvallis, and Hood River Valley is sixth.
She does know how to close, doesn't she?
She certainly does. It was just minutes ago she got out of the pool after that 500-yard win in her heat in the 500-yard free, and now with the big anchor leg, and West Albany looking very strong. In particular, Jessie James, the senior, in her final state meet. Heat number 2. Let's set the lanes for you. Cleveland is in 1, Crescent Valley 2, Bend is 3, Sherwood in lane 4, Mountain View is in lane 5, and Pendleton is in lane 6. Alicia Whitehead for Cleveland. For Crescent Valley, it's Erica Twenge. For Bend, it's Jennifer Tornay. Sam Olaszewski for Sherwood in lane 4. Phoebe Weedman for Mountain View in 5, and Pendleton, Destiny Dennis. And after one leg, Crescent Valley with the lead. Sherwood is 2nd, Bend is 3rd. So lanes 2, 4, and 3 after 50 yards. For Crescent Valley, the freshman Allison Wells will try to keep it up in lane 2. And she's opened up a nice lead for the Raiders over Bend. And now Veronica Twenge dives in the 3rd leg for Crescent Valley. It's Jennifer Robeson, the freshman, for Bend. As Bend has climbed into 2nd, Sherwood is now 3rd. Twenge, the junior, holding on to the lead for the Raiders. Erin McCown is the anchor. 1:17:35, the time for Crescent Valley through 3 legs. Sherwood is now 2nd, Bend is 3rd. For Sherwood, it's Julia Bush, a freshman, swimming the anchor leg, and Bend has a freshman, Bella Wiener, in the pool. And here comes Wiener, or Julia Bush for Sherwood, excuse me. Sherwood wins in 1:41:73. Bend was 2nd in 1:42:36. Crescent Valley is 3rd in a time of 1:42:60. So it was the freshman, Julia Bush, for Sherwood with the great anchor leg to win the heat for Sherwood.
And less than a second off the state meet record, so watch for them tomorrow.
Next on the deck, the boys' 200-yard freestyle relay. Sherwood in lane 1, South Albany in 2, Bend in 3, Pendleton in 4, Willamette in 5, Cleveland in 6. The 5A state mark belongs to Hillsboro, set 3 years ago, 128.83. The all-time OSAA mark, 126.08, belongs to McMinnville in 1998. And in lane 4, a very strong opening leg for Jacob Rickman, the junior, as Pendleton leads it. Bend is 2nd, South Albany is 3rd, Sherwood 4th, Willamette 5th, and Cleveland is in 6th place. Evan O'Grady, the sophomore, swimming the 2nd leg for the Buckaroos. And a strong one as he will pass off to Nick Jennings. Bend is in 2nd, South Albany remains in 3rd. With Jennings, the sophomore, trying to hold off Justin Short, the senior, for Bend in lane 3. And here comes the strong 3rd leg from Bend. Short and Jennings going back and forth. It'll be a near dead heat as they pass to the anchor leg. Beamer, or Doug Steinhoff, excuse me, for Bend, and Nolan Hill for Pendleton. Steinhoff in 3, Hill in 4. It's a 2-team race as Bend and Steinhoff seem to be taking control. Late push from Nolan Hill will not be enough. Bend wins it in 1:31:75. Pendleton 2nd in 1:32:43. South Albany finishes 3rd, 1:34:90. Willamette is 4th, Sherwood 5th, and Cleveland finishes in 6th.
That all-class record you talked about with McMinnville, part of their state championship effort in 1998, is that anchored a state title for them. Back again when there was a single classification meet.
Heat 2 of the boys' 200-yard freestyle. Set to go. In lane 1, North Eugene. Lane 2 is Lebanon. In lane 3, Summit. Lane 4, Ashland. Lane 5, Marist. And lane 6 is Park Rose. Best seed time of this group belongs to Summit, 1:30.63. Best time in the field of the two heats. And Summit with the early lead. Aiden Souls, the junior, the beneficiary of that lead, but now getting pushed in 4 by Cole Harding, the freshman from Ashland. Summit in 3, Ashland in 4. And extending the advantage is Souls, the junior. He'll give Ben Griffin a nice lead in lane 3, the senior for Summit. The Storm battling the Ashland Grizzlies. Forrest Collar, the senior for Ashland, in 4, trying to make up some ground, but he's got a big deficit to deal with. As Collar swimming tough, but it'll be Tommy Brewer, the exciting freshman for Summit, the anchor leg for the Storm against Kai Stahl, the senior for Ashland. Lebanon is in 3rd, North Eugene is 4th, Marist is 5th, Park Rose is 6th. And a healthy advantage as Brewer will swim Summit to the victory in 1:31.03. Ashland is 2nd in 1:32.32. Marist sneaks up and grabs 3rd in 1:36.07. Lebanon is 4th, North Eugene 5th, and Park Rose finishes 6th.
And we get a short break here for a few minutes before we come back with our last 3 events, starting with the girls' 100-yard backstroke. Want to take a breather, or you want to read some results?
Let's do some results.
All right.
All right, here we go. And the boys' 500-yard free, Alex Seaver, the junior of Marist, with the best preliminary finish today, 4:42.52. Brandon Deckard of Mountain View, the sophomore, was 2nd in 4:43.03. Luke Lindsay of North Eugene, Gus Sims of Ashland, Aiden Souls of Summit, and Wyatt Engler of Lebanon round out the field in the boys' 500-yard freestyle. And in the girls' 200 freestyle relay, it is Sherwood with the best time after the preliminary round, 1:41.73. Bend will challenge them with a time of 1:42.36. Crescent Valley is 3rd, West Albany 4th, Summit 5th, and Ashland is 6th.
So that gets us caught up here as we take a short break for about 5 minutes or so. And we'll come back with the girls' 100-yard backstroke, followed by the boys' 100 back, 100 breaststroke, and the 400 freestyle relay will close it out on qualifying night at the 2012 5A Swimming State Championships. We'll step aside for a moment on OSAA.tv.
If you've stopped saving, let us help you start. Savings today and rewards tomorrow from U.S. Bank. Save a little every week with every purchase, every paycheck. Watch your savings grow. When you reach $1,000, you'll earn a $50 rewards Visa card. Earn another $50 when you keep it for a year. Save for a wedding day, a family, or your house. Just start. All of us serving you. U.S. Bank.
One Saturday night, someone went through town slashing tires. Sunday morning, one of Andy Spencer's customers at Les Schwab went to Andy's house to see if he could help.
You got it.
Andy got in his truck and drove up and down the streets, helping anyone who needed it. He worked at it pretty hard most of the day.
That's all of them.
Andy didn't tell anybody no. He really went above and beyond his duties as a manager and a neighbor. I'm James Hamilton, and that's my Les Schwab story.
Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
And we welcome you back to the 5A Swimming State Championships at the Mount Hood Aquatic Center. We get ready for the girls' 100-yard backstroke. We'll get you the qualifiers here in the boys' 200 free relay.
Well, Todd, it will be Summit with the best preliminary time, 1:31.03. Bend, the rival from Bend, has the second best time, 1:31.75. Ashland with the third qualifying mark, 1:32.32. Pendleton, South Albany, and Willamette rounding out the 6 teams that'll vie for the boys' 200-yard freestyle relay state title tomorrow.
Girls' 100-yard backstroke, the 5A state meet record set 2 years ago by Kayla Lee at 55.87. The same day, Karen Turner set the all-classification mark at 55.22. The national record is 51.85. In lane 1, Charity Hankey, junior, West Albany. Lane 2, Elizabeth Cobb, sophomore, Mountain View. Lane 3, Bailey Strom, senior from Liberty. Lane 4, Maddie Brewer, junior from Summit. Lane 5, Angela Sampson, freshman from Marist. And lane 6, Danielle Miller, sophomore, Hood River Valley. 100-yard backstroke, 2 times up and back. Good race midway through, and the touch will go to Maddie Brewer at 28.42. Bailey Strom at 28.62. Strom the top seed time by 0.8 over Brewer in this heat. Cobb is third, Sampson fourth, Miller fifth, and Hankey sixth. 25 yards to go as they make the turn. And a solid turn for both Strom and Brewer. It'll come down to who wants to make the rough or pull here in the last 25. Brewer with a slight edge, but this one may come down to the touch. And they reach, it is Brewer at 58.18. Strom 58.43. Elizabeth Cobb third at 101.24. Sampson fourth at 104.39. Hanks fifth at 106.48. And Danielle Miller of Hood River Valley coming in sixth.
Both Brewer and Strom with better marks than their seed times coming in that race. So a good effort from both swimmers.
Heat number 2, the girls' 100-yard backstroke. In lane 1, Brooke Miller, a junior from Bend. Lane 2, Emily Stevens, junior from Sherwood. Lane 3, Grace Carlson, junior of Wilson, with the top seed time in the field at 55.84. Lane 4, Allison Wells, freshman from Crescent Valley. Lane 5, Veronica Twangy, junior from Crescent Valley. And lane 6, Maddie Kelly, a freshman from Lebanon. 50 gone, and an easy lead right now for Carlson of Wilson at 27.57. Wells second, but 2 seconds back at 29.48. Stevens third, 30.37. Twangy fourth, 30.96. Miller, 31.19 at the split, and Kelly at 31.69. And this one's going to be a comfortable victory for Grace Carlson of Wilson. Good battle for second as Emily Stevens of Sherwood closes on Allison Wells. Carlson touches in 56.53, 7/10 off the meet record. Wells second at 1 minute 18 100ths. Stevens less than a second behind in third at 101.17. Twangy fourth at 103.05. Miller fifth at 103.47. And Kelly sixth at 104.53. Second heat of the girls' 100-yard backstroke. And we move on to the guys for the first of 2. The 5A record at 50.77, Nick Morrell in 2009. Trent Staley, the OSAA mark, 50.02 in 2000. The national record is 46.75. Freshman Gabe DeSimone of West Albany is in lane 1. John Murphy, junior, Mountain View in 2. John Hartmeyer, freshman, Summit in 3. Alan Hermans, junior, Wilson in 4. Marshall Allen, a junior from Summit in 5. And Perry Jennings, a senior from Pendleton, is in 6. Good first 50. And Hermans at 27.19 the lead. Hartmeyer second at 27.40. Allen at 27.90 in third. Murphy fourth at 28.35. Jennings 28.86, and DeSimone in sixth at 29.04. 25 yards to go, and now an easy margin for Hartmeyer. Nope, check that. As I got screened, I apologize. It's Hermans of Wilson out in front as he popped up late in lane 4, and Hermans will win the heat in 54.89. 2 seconds under his previous best. Hartmeyer second at 55.61. Allen third, 57.77. Murphy fourth at 58.65. Jennings fifth at 58.79. And DeSimone sixth at 59.80. And into the pool for heat number 2, the boys. 100-yard backstroke. Now we're not wasting any time, that's for sure. Lane 1, Philip Dostie, senior of South Albany. Lane 2, Anton Loncar, sophomore, Liberty. Lane 3, Sam Donahue, senior from Cleveland with the top seed time. Lane 4, Connor Brenda, junior from Summit. Lane 5, Zach Freeman, junior from Willamette. And lane 6, Justin Short, a senior from Bend. Donahue out well, but closely pursued. He'll touch first at 26.12. Loncar at 27.02, and Connor Brenda at 27.09. Freeman in fourth, Dostie fifth, and Short sixth as they head down to the far end for the final time. And a great turn there by Brenda as Connor Brenda tried to close, but then as they go back to the strokes, Donahue pulls away. Anton Loncar coming up well in lane 2. Sam Donahue will touch at 53.92. Loncar second at 54.60. Connor Brenda third at 55.11. Freeman fourth at 59.12. Short fifth at 59.92. And Dostie at 1 minute .62 to wrap up qualifying in the boys' 100-yard backstroke. Dave?
Up next, Todd, is the girls' 100-yard breaststroke. The 5A state mark held by Jordan Iverson, 104.34. And the OSA all classes mark, Felicia Castaneda in 2004, 102.62. She went on to swim here at Mount Hood Community College, and her name's up on the wall in the other pool, Felicia Castaneda. And heat 1, lane 1, Kylie Webb, the freshman from Hood River Valley. Lane 2, Lexi Hirely, the freshman from West Albany. Shaylin Brownell, the sophomore from Marshfield, is in 3. And 4, it's Jackie Nonweiler, senior for Summit. Devin Green, the junior from Sherwood, is in 5. And in 6, Alyssa Hedgepath, the freshman from Marshfield. Brownell, the sophomore pirate from Marshfield, will touch first after 50, 33.21. Nonweiler is second, Green is third. Webb is in fourth, Hirely fifth, and Hedgepath is in sixth place. It's a two-swimmer race as they turn at the far end. Brownell of Marshfield and Nonweiler of Summit. Brownell pops up first, Nonweiler giving chase. And now coming up in lane 2 is Lexi Hirely. But it will be the sophomore, Shaylin Brownell of Marshfield, winning in 109.46. Nonweiler is second in 110.92. And third, it's Hirely in 112.64. Webb is fourth, Green is fifth, and Hedgepath is sixth. And a better time than Shaylin Brownell's seed time, as she puts up a 109.46, 109.88 coming in. Heat 2, lane 1, Haley Cablau, the freshman from Liberty, is in 1. In 2, it's Kenzie Bass, the freshman from West Albany. In 3, Meredith Wells, the senior from Crescent Valley. In 4, Makila Shuck, the senior from Madison. In 5, Devin Vessel, the junior from Dallas. And in 6, Courtney Comrie, the freshman from Pendleton. Shuck with the lead at 31.97 after 50 yards. Wells is second, and Vessel is third from Dallas. Shuck holding on to the lead at the far turn. And now getting a little bit of a push from Meredith Wells, the senior from Crescent Valley in lane 3. Makila Shook in 107.71, and a huge improvement off her season best. More than 3 seconds better. Wells is second, Vessel is third, Bass is fourth, Cablau is fifth, and Comrie is sixth in the girls' 100-yard breaststroke heat number 2, won by Makila Shook. Up next, the boys, 100-yard breaststroke. Alan Hermans, the junior from Wilson, is in 1. In 2, it's John Beamer, the senior from South Albany. In 3, Aiden Souls, the junior from Summit. In 4, Kai Stahl, the senior from Ashland. In 5, Jason Monsmith, the senior from Springfield. And Nick Jennings, sophomore from Pendleton, is in lane 6 at the bottom of your screen. The class and all-class record set 3 years ago on the same day. Mason Allen, the 5A record at 59.37, the OSAA all-class record owned by Sam Rowan, 56.51. The national mark is 53.66. Stahl with the lead, Souls giving chase. And it's a 3-man race. Beamer, Souls, and Stahl in lanes 2, 3, and 4. Now Souls and Stahl, and it will be Kai Stahl winning for Ashland in 101.31, out-touching Aiden Souls in 101.45. Beamer was third, Monsmith is fourth, Hermans is fifth, and Jennings is sixth. Coming up, heat 2 of the preliminaries in the boys' 100-yard breaststroke. Man to watch here is Cameron Lindsay in lane 3 from North Eugene. Let's set the whole field for you. In 1, it's Nick Cheney, the sophomore from Sandy. In 2, Elijah Yang, the junior from Willamette. Lindsay from North Eugene is in 3. Connor Webb, the junior from Hood River Valley, in 4. Coulter Dawson, the senior from North Eugene, is in 5. And the freshman from Summit, Carson Brenda, is in lane 6. As expected, Lindsay with the comfortable lead as we reach the halfway mark, 27.97. Second is Connor Webb at 29.16. And Yang holding on to third place in lane 2, the junior from Willamette. A distinct Midwestern League feel in this heat, and owned by Cameron Lindsay of the North Eugene Highlanders, who's opened up a luxurious lead and wins in 59.55. Webb is second in 101.75, followed by Yang at 103.81. Brenda is fourth, Dawson fifth, then Cheney rounds out the field.
The girls' 400-yard freestyle relay will wrap up qualifying for the girls. Crescent Valley has the overall state record from 2006 at 331.47 and the 5A record at 2008 when that classification started at 334.63. The national record is 323.10, and we'll set the field for you after we get underway in Heat 1 of the girls' 400-yard freestyle relay. In lane 1 at the top is Ashland. Sophomore Ada Lawson swims the opening leg. Lane 2, Marshfield. Sophomore Bridget McCarthy. Lane 3, Summit. Freshman Mackenzie Halligan. Lane 4 is Bend, senior Jennifer Tournay. Lane 5, Cleveland with sophomore Anna West. And in lane 6, Wilsonville with sophomore Christy Halverson. And Halverson will get Wilsonville the lead after 50. Summit second, Bend third, Ashland fourth, Marshfield fifth, and Cleveland sixth. A fast first 50 for sophomore Christy Halverson of Wilsonville. She'll still carry the lead at the end of the first leg. Carolina Ramirez will swim second for Wilsonville as they touch in first place. Followed by Summit, Mackenzie Halligan swims the second leg. Then Bend, Jennifer Robson, and make it Brooke Walsh rather for Summit. Fourth is Ashland with senior Cassie Hall. Fifth, Cleveland, junior Alicia Whitehead. And in sixth is Marshfield with junior Hannah Olson. Good second leg here, and Summit moves into the lead behind senior Brooke Walsh. They'll touch at 121.66, Wilsonville at 123.57, Bend at 124.05, followed by Marshfield, Cleveland, and Ashland. So Walsh bringing back Summit, and they have a strong third leg scheduled with senior Susie Foster. So Summit using Foster, one of their most talented performers, to try to build a lead going into the anchor leg. They're out comfortably right now as Foster will go for Summit, and they have a large lead over Bend of nearly 3 seconds. Brooke Miller swims the third leg for Bend. Wilsonville in third place. They'll go with freshman Hannah Cesario. Marshfield fourth with senior Kirby Neal. Fifth is Cleveland with senior Ada Thatcher James. And sixth, Ashland, sophomore Maddie Longshore. Summit had the best time in this field coming in by about 3 seconds over Bend. And they have a 4-second advantage with 150 yards to go. Foster will hand off to junior Maddie Brewer to swim the anchor leg for Summit. For Bend, it'll be the freshman Bella Wiener taking over from Brooke Miller. She has quite a chore if she's going to make this one up. Marshfield's anchor leg will be sophomore Shaylin Brownell. Wilsonville, senior Haley Bird. Summit ready to go. And they touch 2:47.10. Bend 3 seconds back, almost 4 at 2:50.98. Marshfield is third as Brownell takes over. Ashland up to fourth with Shumway. Cleveland in fifth with freshman Ida Donahue on the anchor. And Haley Bird, senior, will swim the anchor leg for Wilsonville. 50 yards to go, and it is all Summit right now. They won't be close to the meet record, but they will finish in front of this field. As Maddie Brewer goes up to touch the far end one more time. Wiener closing, but she's not going to have any way to get back over the final 25. It's still a very comfortable advantage for Summit. And they will come home first in 3:41.61, 7 seconds off the meet record. Bend in second at 3:46.28. Summit lowering its best by 0.6 of a second. Marshfield third at 3:51.88. Cleveland fourth, 3:53.95. Ashland in fifth at 3:55.38. And Wilsonville sixth at a little over 4 minutes. Their time not registering up on the board. We get set for the second heat out of six competitors in the second heat of 2 in this girls 400-yard freestyle relay. Lane 1, Hood River Valley. Lane 2, Sherwood. Lane 3, Crescent Valley with the top qualifying time. Lane 4, West Albany. Lane 5, Mountain View. And Lane 6, Corvallis. As we mentioned, Crescent Valley with its fingerprints all over every mark in this event, and they are the top qualifiers coming in today. Erin McCown, a senior, swims for them in lane number 3. Up at the top, junior Kayla Schilling leads off for Hood River Valley. In lane 2, it's Sam Olaszewski for Sherwood. Lane 4, Charity Hankey, a junior from West Albany. Lane 5, sophomore Phoebe Weedman leads the effort for Mountain View. And in lane 6, it's Erica Weiler, a senior for Corvallis. Sherwood touches first after 50. at 27-11, and Crescent Valley listed in 6th currently, so a little bit of a surprise there. It's Mountain View, Hood River Valley, Corvallis, West Albany, and Crescent Valley after the first 50. Let's see how it looks this time. Good start in lane 5 here for Mountain View, also Sherwood in lane 2, and it'll be Sherwood touching first. Haley Brownell will swim the second leg for them. Mountain View second with freshman Justine Hanway. Hood River Valley in third with freshman Kylie Webb. Corvallis in fourth with sophomore Aurora Brown Sanders. And Crescent Valley still in sixth. Erica Twenge, the senior, will have to make some up here. And she's starting to do that already. In fact, Twenge goes from sixth to second in just 50. It's Mountain View by only 5/100ths over Crescent Valley. Hood River Valley third, Sherwood fourth, West Albany fifth, and Corvallis sixth. Off the turn, and Twenge takes the lead for Crescent Valley. She'll hand off to Allison Wells. Mountain View doing well out in lane 5. Crescent Valley will touch first at 1:52.10. Mountain View second at 1:54 even. And Bailey Anderson swims their second leg. Hood River Valley third. Senior Alyssa Walker takes the third leg. West Albany fourth with sophomore Brittany Baker. Sherwood in fifth. Junior Emily Stevens. And Corvallis now sixth. Senior Maya Patton swims their third leg. And some familiar qualifying names wait in the second heat to be the anchor legs. Crescent Valley on top now by about 3 seconds. Wells turns for home with a good margin, but Sherwood starting to make a run behind Emily Stevens. West Albany fading a little bit, and the anchor leg for Crescent Valley, it'll be senior Meredith Wells, and she's given a 3+ second lead over Sherwood. Freshman Julia Bush in the water for the Bowmen. West Albany, Jessie James on the anchor leg. Mountain View with sophomore Elizabeth Cobb. Hood River Valley, Taylor Tanisma, their anchor. And Corvallis, freshman Kayla Ashland has the anchor responsibilities. Closing is Sherwood. Bush making a run on Meredith Wells. West Albany coming up well with Jessie James, and this suddenly tightens up as Wells starts to fade a little bit. Meredith, the senior, hotly pursued with 25 yards to go, and Sherwood in the lead with 25 to go. Julia Bush, the freshman, with an outstanding anchor leg, and she'll move out to a body length lead. Sherwood is going to capture this second heat. Their time 3:43.32. Second, Crescent Valley at 3:44.79. West Albany third at 3:45.39. Hood River Valley fourth at 3:48.65. Mountain View fifth, 3:49.18. And Corvallis will finish sixth with a time of 4:03. Nope, they're going to make a late touch, 4:05.30. It didn't register. But guess what, Crescent Valley? You've got some competition if you want to retain your girls' relay title.
Yeah, absolutely. Crescent Valley, this is going to be a great meet tomorrow here at the 5A level, and Crescent Valley has its work cut out if they want to defend its title.
Our last event, the boys 400-yard freestyle relay. We'll get heat 1 for you in a minute. 5A meet record Hillsboro 2009, 3:14.43. OSAA record Westview 2008, 3:09.61. National high school record is 3:01.80. In lane 1 is Wilson. Junior Graham Montgomery leads off for them. Lane 2, Cleveland. Junior Stephen Sue. Lane 3, Ashland with junior Gus Sims. Lane 4, North Eugene. Senior Luke Lindsay. Lane 5, Lebanon with junior C.J. Reed. And in lane 6, Pendleton with junior Jacob Rickman handling leadoff duties. Pendleton with the lead after the first 50. And we'll see how they come down now as they make the change. Pendleton still out in front, but closing quick is Cleveland in lane 2. Pendleton will touch first in 50-81. Ashland gets second at 51-65 to Cleveland's 51-70. North Eugene fourth, 52-15. Wilson fifth, and Lebanon sixth. Pendleton has Evan O'Grady swimming the second leg. Ashland, Parker Massey. North Eugene, Taylor Jones. Wyatt Engler for Lebanon. Sam Donahue for Cleveland. And Alan Hermans for Wilson up in lane 1. Pendleton continues to hang on. Cleveland second, Ashland third, North Eugene fourth, Wilson fifth, and Lebanon sixth. Heat number 1 of 2. We come down to the midway point here. Pendleton at the bottom of your screen in 6. Cleveland up near the top, the yellow caps in lane 2. And it's Cleveland out in front behind Sam Donahue. Alex Carter swims the third leg for Cleveland. Pendleton's third leg, Perry Jennings. Ashland with a third leg from senior Forrest Kohler. North Eugene is in 4th, junior Hayden Dover. Wilson 5th with sophomore Kevin Kwan. And Lebanon in 6th, senior Stephen Evans. Ashland rallies now behind Forrest Kohler as he closes up on Alex Carter. Pendleton gets the first touchdown at the bottom, though. Perry Jennings at 2:06.67 to Ashland's 2:06.83 and Cleveland's 2:06.89. Tight race. Next time down, it's the anchor legs. Pendleton has Nolan Hill in the anchor in lane 6. Ashland has Kai Stahl in the anchor in lane 3. And Cleveland has Brandon Risley in the anchor in lane 2. It's Pendleton just ahead of Ashland at the touch. Cleveland in third. The margin first to second, 0.7 of a second. Pendleton tries to hang on behind Nolan Hill. 2 times up and back. And Hill starts to get a challenge from Ashland's Kai Stahl. Stahl moving ahead, and Stahl will have the touch with 50 to go. Nope, the board says Pendleton. 0.2 ahead of Ashland. Cleveland third, North Eugene fourth. Wilson fifth and Lebanon sixth. Stahl trying to power it home. And it looks as though he's going to get by Nolan Hill. Stahl in the orange cap in lane 3. Hill at the bottom in the blue of Pendleton. It is Stahl by a body length. He'll touch 3:20.79. Pendleton a great swim for second at 3:21.68. Cleveland third at 3:23.98. North Eugene fourth at 3:26.13. Wilson fifth, 3:29.65. And Lebanon sixth at 3:34.56. Dave, Pendleton down in lane 6. That's usually the quote-unquote slow lane, and boy, they put it together in the prelims.
Nearly 22 or more than 22 seconds better than their seed time coming in. That almost would bring up claims of sandbagging coming in.
Well, they probably hadn't had a chance to put their 4 best together up till now either.
That's a great improvement and a great effort by the Buckaroos.
Last race here, Heat 2. It's going to be West Albany in 1, Springfield in 2, Summit in 3, Bend in 4, Mountain View 5, and Park Rose in 6. Summit top qualifiers by 3+ seconds. Little surprise here in lane 1 for West Albany. It'll be senior Kyler Grieve. The surprise a bit in lane 2 as Carlos Honeycutt swims the leadoff leg for Springfield. Freshman John Hartmeyer has the lead for Summit in 3. Mitchell McGinnis, senior for Bend in lane 4. Mountain View with junior John Murphy in 5. And Park Rose with junior Jeremy Clement in lane 6. Normally you'd expect somebody like Honeycutt to swim the anchor. Tommy Brewer will be swimming the anchor for Summit in the big showdown.
Joshua Jordan, the Springfield coach, perhaps with a little strategy there, putting one of his best swimmers in the opening leg and maybe trying to stake the Millers to a lead.
Well, it's working so far as Honeycutt out in front of the field. Now can the rest of the crew hang on? He touches in 48.36 and hands off to sophomore Jared Martin. Summit is second, and junior Marshall Allen will swim for them. Mountain View third with junior Kodiak Arndt. Bend in fourth with senior William O'Connell. Park Rose in fifth, junior Quentin Lee. And Joshua Johnson, junior, will swim for West Albany on the second leg. Already Summit making up a good portion of the deficit against Springfield, but Springfield hanging on through the first 50. Martin will hand off to freshman Riley James on the third leg for Springfield in lane 2. And for Summit, junior Connor Brenda will swim the third leg. So Summit finishing very strong in 3 and 4. Springfield still with a good advantage with 100 to go, or 200 rather to go. They'll touch in 139.99. Summit 3+ seconds back at 143.04. Bend is in third, 145.44. Mountain View fourth, 147.78. West Albany fifth, 149.30. And Park Rose sixth at 151.43. For West Albany in lane 1, freshman Gabe DeSimone swims. For Bend in lane 4, it's senior Justin Short. Mountain View in lane 5, freshman Joseph Murphy. And in lane 6 for Park Rose, it's sophomore Jacob Sheeran. The lead down to 1.4 seconds. Springfield still on top of Summit with 150 to go. Brenda continues to close on Riley James. James will hand off to senior Jason Monosmith. Brenda will hand off to the freshman Tommy Brewer for the final 100. At the wall, it's a 1.27 second lead for Springfield over Summit. Bend is third. They'll go with Doug Steinhoff in the anchor leg. Don't overlook him. Mountain View fourth with Brandon Deckard, another good swimmer. West Albany with Jacob DeLoe as the anchor, and Cameron Tennyson anchors the effort for Park Rose. Summit in front of Park Rose before the 50 is over. Tommy Brewer moves ahead of Monosmith. Good turn off the wall at this end, and he's out to a body length plus lead. And coming up well also in lane 4 is Steinhoff for Bend. He's going to challenge for second before this is through, but I don't think anybody is going to catch Tommy Brewer as the freshman steams home for Summit to give them a victory in our final race of the night. Heat number 2, the boys 400 freestyle relay, and Summit finishes first at 3:20.93. Bend hangs on for a second, 3:24.33, a good anchor leg for Steinhoff to move past Monosmith, and Springfield takes third at 3:24.78. Mountain View fourth, 3:31.87. West Albany fifth at 3:32 even, and Park Rose comes home sixth at 3:41.54.
Summit and Bend save their best swimmers for the anchor leg. Alternate strategy than Springfield with Honeycutt going out on the opening leg, and they just couldn't hold on. The Millers couldn't hold on.
You hope your second and third guys can hang on to that pace a little bit, because the other way to go around, of course, is to put Honeycutt in the anchor and ask him to make up a near impossible deficit. So it's tough either way. So guess what? We're halfway through.
Hey.
We're done with day one.
Fun. Shall we set some finals here?
Yep, go ahead and finish those up real quick while we wait.
The girls' 100-yard backstroke tomorrow. It will be Grace Carlson of Wilson, Maddie Brewer of Summit, Bailey Strom of Liberty, Allison Wells of Crescent Valley, Emily Stevens of Sherwood, and Elizabeth Cobb of Mountain View. That's the girls' 100-yard backstroke. On the boys' side, it's Sam Donahue of Cleveland, Anton Lonkar of Liberty, Alan Hermans of Wilson, Connor Brenda of Summit, John Hartmeyer of Summit, and Marshall Allen of Summit. 3 Summit Storm
points
swimmers
there, yeah.
in the 100 backstroke for the boys. In the girls' 100-yard breaststroke, it'd be Michaela Shuck, Meredith Wells, Shaylin Brownell, Jackie Nonweiler, Devin Vessel, and Kenzie Bass. And in the boys' 100-yard breaststroke, Cameron Lindsay, Kai Stahl, Aiden Souls, Connor Webb, John Beamer, and Elijah Yang. The girls' 400 freestyle relay, it's Summit, Sherwood, Crescent Valley, West Albany, Bend, and
we got plenty of time.
Valley.
We got plenty of time. We don't got a commercial break, so
okay.
We're in good shape.
Okay, all right. And that's all we have, other than the boys 400.
Right, and if you want to see final results on that, we'll try to hang on for a second and see if we get them. But you can always follow, as always, at osaa.org to find complete results, find lane assignments for tomorrow, check programs there. And, of course, we will have every race for you tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m. with the 6A meet. B finals and A finals, we'll have them all. The 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A will come at 1:45, and then we'll be back to do all this over again with the 5A starting at 6:30. And if you know a really effective throat lozenge, give us a call. We got to go knock out another 14 hours of this tomorrow. Well, your first day in the books, what do you think?
Really fun. Race after race. It's a very well-run meet. The races just flow one into the other. The officials do a great job here. The stat folks do a great job getting this information, and I think we're having the 400 freestyle final coming down the line here. It will be Ashland with the best preliminary time of 3:20.79, Summit, Pendleton, Bend, Springfield, and North Eugene in the boys 400-yard freestyle relay final tomorrow at the 5A level.
1400s between Ashland and Summit. That could be an interesting battle, and we'll just see how that one goes. Remember, that's going to be the last event. Could the team title still be on the line then? Will Crescent Valley get another victory in the girls and make it 6 straight? All sorts of things to be decided tomorrow. Just prop your feet up if you're a swim fan. We'll have swimming for you all day long, starting with the big schools bright and early in the morning and taking you all the way through the evening when we wrap up the 5A championships. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 8. For Dave Wenda and our entire crew here at the Mount Hood Aquatic Center, I'm Todd Pickett. Thanks for joining us for the 2012 OSAA U.S. Bank Les Schwab Tires Swimming State Championships, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 right here on OSAA.tv. So long, everybody, from the Mount Hood Aquatic Center.